Day 26 started by reaching my shed and taking the metalworking supplies from the wall shelf. Then I signed the shed as looted and added to my new base the proper tag in the map. While after closing the map, a Z emerged from behind the trees near the house. After dealing with him, I reached my truck and moved it closer to the next neighbor house. This action aggroed the small group a little bit up ahead. The first was fast and I killed him quickly, while for the rest I decided to retreat and force them to use the closest fence. For some reasons, the first two understood that it was a trap and went around it to reach my location. This is why I had to spend extra energy to push them both down before beating them to death. Expecting that the next will also follow their example, I didn't wait for him to come. Instead, I went directly for a kill. After depositing some of the loot I had on me in my trunk, I decided to take the tire pump and inflate all the tires of my car to the max level. This could help to have more power while towing other vehicles and driving off-road. Once done, I deposited it back in the car trunk. Later, I positioned the vehicle to be in the center between the next buildings I wanted to loot. After that, I run toward the metal fence to intercept a Z that just climbed over. Seconds after, a second asked for a neck massage. Later, I moved inside the first building to the south. Here I found a television to pick up, and an empty pan was laying on the ground in front of the fridge. In the bedroom cabinet, there was a belt to loot, and to finish in the bathroom cupboard, I found a good piece of literature, with a good old battery for my flashlight. I also noticed that outside there is an entrance to a basement. Inside it there was 4 crates. From them I obtained a sheet metal snips, that is a new type of scissors in Build 42. While the second crate I checked had a lot of metalworking supplies, including rods and pipes that I can use as weapons. Inside the same crate I even found a ball-peen hammer. In the next crate there was a bag of plaster powder that I can use to convert wooden into plaster walls. To finish, the last crate has a gardening trowel and a spare tire pump. After collecting everything, I also took this opportunity to take also the crates. Once I get back out, I proceeded in signing this building as looted and move back to my vehicle. I had to kill 2 Zs on my way there that was attracted by the engine noise that I left running to recharge the car battery. After looting the belt and watch from just killed enemies, I unloaded all of my new loot in the car trunk. Once I was done, I heard a new zombie behind me, and I reacted in time to kill him after he climbed over the fence. At this point was time to loot the house to the north. To avoid drawing unwanted attention, I opted to open the bedroom window and get inside the house as fast as possible. From this bedroom drawer, I obtained a magazine to read if I got bored or stressed. Seconds after, I started to hear someone breaking a door. Following the noise, I reached the bathroom, where I found the owner of this house already turned. But the banging noise wasn't coming from the bathroom, so I kept searching and found one at the main entrance. After killing this one, I soon found out that it was the sheriff. Probably he wanted to arrest me for crimes against the zombie humanity. Now that it was safe, I went back to keep looting. This allowed me to obtain 2 great pieces of literature from the bookshelf near the entrance, another one from the wall shelf in the storage room behind, and a barbed wire from the other shelf. Moving to the kitchen, I obtained a rolling pin from the first cupboard, pliers, and steel wool from the second, an empty mug from the third, and a baking pan from the oven. There was even some barbecue sauce in the fridge. Moving to the living room, I found some magazines in the television drawer, and after taking them, I proceeded in picking up also the television. After moving it in my backpack to lose the encumbrance moodle, I checked the last room that resulted to be for the kids. Inside it, I found an interesting book to read and a spare long-sleeve t-shirt in perfect condition to loot. I was done with this building and I noticed a Z in front of its main entrance. So I went outside to have some fun with him. But he called for help, and soon after I found myself dealing with 2 extra. While finishing the first, a newcomer tried to grab me from behind, but I was quick to react and pushed him to the ground. Seconds after, all 3 was dead lying down at my feet. Immediately after this fight, 3 more came from different directions, but I was quick enough to deal with them one by one without any issues. Finally, after looting them, I went back to my truck, but before reaching it, I felt safe to open the map after climbing over the fence, in order to mark the last building as looted. Later, once I was done depositing my loot in the car trunk, I equipped in my primary hand one of the new steel rods and went for a kill in front of my vehicle. After taking this last victim watch, was time to check also the building to the southwest. But I had to stop once I noticed a group near the gazebo, allowing the first incoming Zed to be killed easily. Once done, I chugged a painkiller pill to mitigate the pain from the muscle strain caused by transporting too much loot. Then I went closer to the group until I had the attention of the next victim. Immediately after, I checked my surroundings only to find another fast incoming from the northwest. To have time to deal with him, I met him halfway. This helped me to deal with the other one without any troubles as well. Going back to the previous group, I was able to aggro a new one, but had to wait 10 minutes before I was able to kill him at a safe distance from the rest. Despite that, I still ended up forcing the third to charge me. After pushing him to the ground, I got on top and took this opportunity to drop the rod that I just broke. Then I equipped the rolling pin, before dealing with the enemy under my feet. After taking his watch, I went in search for the last guy that was exploring its surroundings. He heard me and decided to fight near the building wall, only to end up painting that wall with his blood. Following the zombie laments to the southeast, I found my next victim that kindly let himself go by climbing over the fence. While going back to the neighbor house, I found a guard near its back door I had to kill. Doing so made me fall out of breath, and I saw another two incoming from the southwest. To avoid pulling more troubles, I decided to fight them closer to the road. The rolling pin isn't a great weapon, so even if they was taking bonus damage from being on the ground, it still took several hits to deal with them. But at least this way I can preserve my best weapon durability to be used on larger groups. Later I thought that I was free to start looting, but after checking the first shelves, I heard someone near the previous fight location. To not risk it to give space for zombies to group up, I went back up and dealt with him promptly. This wasn't a total waste of time, considering that I even got a belt and a watch for my trouble. Finally, it was time to loot the building. I started from the kitchen, where on the wall shelf I found a soda, while in the last ground shelf I found some butter. The last one in Build 42 is one of the best late game food to gain weight. To finish with the kitchen, I even found a frying pan on the ground near the table. Moving to the living room, I found the First Aid Volume 3 with some fun literature on the ground. While a few steps closer to the stairs, a t-shirt in perfect condition. Moving to the bedroom on the second floor, inside a drawer, there was a magazine and a belt to add to my collection. To finish with this building loot, in the kids' room I found another magazine. Before leaving this location, I decided to sit on the bed and drink some blueberry soda I obtained a few moments ago to calm my hunger. To not waste time resting, I took this opportunity to read the Kentucky Farmer Guide I collected before. After getting rid of the empty pop can and the Just Read magazine, it was time to sign this location and its gazebo as looted in the map. To expand my influence, I moved to the south in order to raid the next buildings. To my delight, the garage was opened. This allowed me to obtain some rope and a medium handle from the first container, followed by a small punch and chisel set. This new item added in Build 42 is used to sharpen tools and weapons. Moving on, from the last shelf I got a battery, some light bulbs and a funnel. The last one is a new item in Build 42. Not sure it has any uses yet, but it says that is a tool, so in doubts I took it. After that, it was time to check the house on this property. But I put myself in trouble as soon as I checked for enemies in front of the main entrance. After retreating a little, I tried to drop the fastest one, but he was stubborn. For this reason I changed plan and climbed over the fence. Seconds after, I defeated all 3 Zeds that was brave enough to fall for my trap. Later I noticed that the first door in the corner of the building belonged to a basement, and I was pleased to find out that it was unlocked. After changing batteries in my flashlight, I went to check it out, closing the door behind me to avoid being ambushed. To my disappointment, I didn't find any useful staff down there. Once I was back outside, I dealt with the enemy that was guarding the building main entrance. He even had some chive seeds to give me. The fight caught the attention of another Zed that I defeated without any issues. After that, I had to run to the southeast to deal with another one that just climbed over the fence. From the same direction I saw a group of 3, while from the west a bigger group was already chasing me. It was time to retreat back and guide them all to a fence where I was safe to fight. The first 3 was easy to deal with, but I messed up with the 4th because I wasn't able to see where I was hitting. It wasn't a real issue anyway because I smashed his head soon after. Later, I killed another one before starting looting. Beside the usual stuff, I even found another seed pocket, this time to grow some rosemary. Plus, there even was a new magazine related to farming that teaches how to make jars of vegetables. Should help a lot in the future in order to preserve food for the next winter. Plus, I found a pocket knife that in the next update I would be able to add to my keyring. While searching the rest of the corpses, I found an extra seeds pocket, this time to farm onions. Once I was done looting, more enemies started to pour in, but they were at a good enough distance from each other's. This allowed me to defeat the next 10 without any trouble. While waiting for the slowest one, I took this opportunity to equip a broken long stick I found on one of the corpses to use as a weapon and save my pipe durability in the process. Despite not quite efficient in one-shotting, it was good enough to kill the next 2. One of them had some rare chewing tobacco, plus a new seed pocket, this time to grow some sage. The next 10 minutes I spent to finish looting the dead. Once I was done, I didn't saw or heard more incoming, so I thought that was a good moment to push toward the building. I didn't find anyone on my way inside the house, so I started looting it from the television. But beside it, the only useful loot was in the kitchen, where I found an empty saucepan and a baking tray. After signing the garage and its house as looted buildings, I decided to check also the neighbor to the southeast. On my way there, before the fence I had to kill another Zed, and he had another piece of chewing tobacco. The rest of the travel toward the next building was uneventful. So I got inside and started looting from a magazine that teaches how to make some bombs that I found on the ground. Moving to the bedroom, there was a radio inside the drawer. Before taking it, I placed it down to remove its battery, so I would have a spare one for my flashlight. On the ground near that drawer, I even found a CD and a sheet to loot. To the left from the bedroom, there was a cabinet from where I obtained a new hoodie. Moving to the kitchen from the first drawer, I obtained an adhesive tape, a paper clip from the second, a bonus flashlight from the third, and some literature from the last one. Was time to check the living room. Here I found only a television to pick up. Finally, using the flashlight, I opened the map and signed this property as looted. To avoid to aggro the enemies from the adjacent road, I opted to exit this building from the kids' room window. It was too dark to go back to my truck and I was close to my own base. This is why I decided that was better to go back to my home and recover my vehicle tomorrow. It took me a few hours to deposit all of the loot on me in their designated containers. After that, I took a fruit juice from my junk food container so I could get rid of my hunger moodle. After that, I went in my bedroom, but I was unable to sleep. I think this is because for some reason the juice had caffeine in it that made me recover my tiredness. To fix the issue and recover my full strength for the next day, I was forced to use a few sleeping pills. Around midnight, the effect of that medicine allowed me to go to bed. But I woke up at 2 a.m. and had to rest for the rest of the night. I made this decision mainly to not use my flashlight batteries and avoid the risk related to fights during the night time.